Alright, welcome everyone to Anime You Should Not Watch. Today we're going to be talking about Just Because. Now, Just Because is an anime that's very special and dear to my heart, and that's literally because it is one of the worst anime I've ever watched in my entire life. I literally remember watching the show, wanting to give up halfway through, pushing through out of the God-given power that I was blessed with, and then still not being redeemed with a good ending or anything at all. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Now we get into the plot. The plot of Just Because revolves around high schooler Eita Izumi, who used to go to middle school with his best friend, which they enjoyed time playing middle school baseball together. But near the end of his middle school career, he was forced to transfer away. A couple years later, late into high school years, he is back and looking to transfer in once again. After he does the usual boring stuff like talk to the school board and take tours of the school, he runs into his old best friend, Haruto Soma. After catching up and reuniting, their life as classmates begins to take off. As it progresses, he also reunites with his middle school crush, Mio Natsumi, then snowballs into a regular high school slice of life, light romance series. On to our characters. Eita Izumi is your typical normal kid trying not to stand out. It's clear to see that he's upset or depressed through the entirety of the show. Also, he continues to have a crush on his former classmate, though he shows not much initiative to do anything about it at all. Although somewhat enjoying his time back with some of his old friends, he still holds the attitude of simply wanting to graduate and leave, especially since long giving up his former hobby of baseball. Next we have Haruto Soma, Eita's best friend, who is actually basically the opposite of his best friend. Who would have fucking guessed? He is fairly outgoing and still plays baseball passionately, and he's pretty damn good at it. He has a crush on one of his classmates as well. Unlike Eita, he actually pursues his crush heavily, trying to help the love blossom between the two. Haruto is one of the better characters in my opinion, because unlike most of the other characters, you actually feel like there's a personality behind the animated creature. Next is Mio Natsumi, Eita's crush. She has a seemingly cheerful personality, so it may seem sometimes, but in reality, she's just as depressed as Eita. She shows plenty of times that she has feelings for Eita. Whether they are strong friendzone feelings or romantic is not always clear. She's a genuinely pretty boring character in my opinion, because all of what she basically does throughout the show is get way too absorbed in her studying and not focus on her real life problems. Next is Hazuki Morikawa. That's Haruto's crush. She is a member of the school's concert band and spends most of her time in the music room or outside playing her instrument, while Haruto listens in dazed bliss. She's quiet and friendly, a simple character, but not terribly boring. It's very clear that she has feelings for Haruto, but she's very adamant on rejecting those feelings because she has already decided what college she wants to go to. And it's not very close to Haruto's. They battle with this situation and other situations throughout the entirety of the series, which isn't completely unpleasant, but not really entertaining either. Finally, we have Ena Komiya, the last character, but definitely not the least. Komiya is my personal favorite character because she's always eccentric and lively, even a bit annoying at times, but she by far has the most personality. She is in the school's photography club and spends most of her days shooting photos and entering them in various contests. Somewhere along the way, she ends up falling for our main character. After her making an attempt to get with him, even when his girl that he likes didn't, she still gets rejected, since his love for her is way more. They end up staying friends, of course, because that's just how anime is. Now we move on to what's wrong with Just Because. Way too many things are wrong, to be honest. The main word I would give to describe this show is bland. There's very little substance to the show whatsoever. There's 4 main characters, and I can only barely stand 2 of the 4. That doesn't include the main character or the counterpart. And when you have a show with such an average plot, you have to have the characters stand out. It's literally a slice of life which is driven by characters. Other than that, it didn't draw you in. There was no, wow, I'm so excited to go to the next episode. It was more like, the next episode couldn't possibly be any worse, could it? And to finish it off, the ending was horrible, lackluster, and boring. I genuinely look at the people who thought this series was more than a 5 out of 10 rating and wonder what went wrong in their childhood. On to the redeeming qualities. Even though this anime has so many issues, it does have one redeeming quality. It's animation. The art is really well done and it's beautiful. The animation team really stepped it up, so at least have to give them props where it is. For the ranking, I would give this a 1 out of 5. If I could give it a lower grade, I would. Like maybe a 0.1 or a 0.5 star. I don't know. It's really low. That's a 1 out of 5 from me, boss. Well, thanks for watching, boys. See you later.